what it takes. Made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, la, 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 la. Man, I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la.
What's going on, guys? You're very welcome to another Degenerate Watch live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're all doing well out there, and thanks to everyone that joined me on the premiere there. I hope you enjoyed the video. So tonight I was supposed to do the birthday stream, but I just want to say this at the start of the stream because I don't want to kind of get into the stream and then have to kind of drop this. But so I got a bit of bad news today, and so there, I'll just get here for a second. Yeah, so got a bit of bad news today from the Wolf Conservation Centre that sadly our adopted wolf Aloha passed away yesterday. And I was going to do the third birthday stream tonight, but then seeing as that kind of happened, I didn't want to kind of like say that at the start of the stream and then kind of have a kind of a fun stream about the birthday. So what I'm going to do is I have another video ready to go up for tomorrow, and after that stream I'm going to do the birthday stream. So yeah, unfortunately, so I ended up getting the email there earlier on. So I'll read you the email now in just a second there. I'm just getting it up there. So it says, so this is from the Wolf Conservation Centre. And I'm just going to read this out first, and then I'll get to people in the comments and stuff, because I just want to kind of get this out of the way at the start of the stream. So it says, it greatly pains us to share the news today that the pillar of the Wolf Conservation Centre, Ambassador Wolf family, Aloha, passed away last night. She was 12 years old. Over recent months and weeks, Aloha had been showing clear signs of her health deteriorating, and despite our best efforts, her condition continued to decline. After much deliberation, guided by the love we bear for her, we made the painful decision last night to alleviate her suffering. Aloha is now at peace, having been gently put to sleep, surrounded by those who loved and cared for her deeply. Aloha, meaning Sweet Pea in Algonquin, lived out her namesake with gentle, playful interactions with her brothers, littermate Zephyr, who passed away last year, and Nikai, her 9-year-old younger sibling. Observers often called her the true leader of the Ambassador Pack, but in a way that never had to be challenged or reinforced. She had a way of always getting what she wanted while avoiding conflict. As Zephyr fell ill in 2022, Aloha stepped up further and solidified her bonds with her brother Nikai, who still needed her mature presence. In some ways, it was fitting that yesterday afternoon, Aloha spent some time meeting the newest Ambassador pup, Silas, beside her enclosure, completing a metaphorical passing of the torch onto the next generation, a step that always comes sooner than you'd like or expect. Aloha will be remembered for her lazy howls, commanding the entire Wolf Conservation Centre chorus to howl along, with the authority of a queen, being fed grapes in a hammock. While her brothers often expressed their personalities by playing off one another, Aloha demanded viewers' attention on her own terms. She joins a long legacy of ambassador wolves who served their species by opening the doors of understanding for a general public who often misunderstands wolves and their vital roles in nature. In her 12 years of service, Alua taught countless people in person and online what wolves are really like in a style that was uniquely hers. Her impact will be felt for years to come in ways she could have never imagined. We thank her for that and so much more we can't properly put into words. Thank you for your support from the Wolf Conservation Centre family. So that's the sad news. And I actually meant to put up a picture of Alua there while we were while I was reading that there. And yeah, so that's terrible, sad news. And Alua obviously and her brother Zephyr passed away last not that actually nearly a year ago, near enough to this time as well. So I'm sure she was missing her brother, and it is quite sad to see. And you know, I was I wasn't expecting that at all. I seen an email come in from them, and I just thought it was like an update or something. Like, well, it was an update, but you know what I mean. I just thought it was something a bit more positive. But you know, all I can say is that you know it's never good to see any animal suffering. So you know, if they had to make that sort of decision, and I know they don't take that sort of I know they don't take that sort of stuff lightly there, that they really do care for the animals. So my predicament now was that when we were going to sponsor a wolf, I was going to put up a poll and see what people wanted to do. Did people want to vote for, or do people want us to adopt Alua again, her brother Nikai, or the new ambassador pup Silas? So I'm still going to do the poll, but obviously we can't adopt Alua at this time. But I will put it up for over the next couple of days on the community tab, and see what people think, who we should adopt. So yeah, so I'm sorry to have to come on to the stream with like sad news, but I didn't want to kind of leave it you know, for another day or something like that, or even wait till I had finished the wolf update video. So I will kind of go into it again, obviously, in the wolf update video, and then if they have any more updates or anything else that they post about Alua, I will include that in that. But I'm going to wait to finish that video until after I see what you know, what way the poll goes of who we're going to adopt, and then I can kind of announce that in that video, I suppose. But yeah, and that's the thing. So I kind of wanted to do that today, the birthday stream, and then I decided, you know, I'll do this video because I plan to do this premiere the video anyway, and then I just decided, you know what, we kind of leave that till tomorrow or whatever. So, yeah, so that's unfortunate. So, yeah, so I'm sorry to start the stream like that, guys. Yeah, I kind of I don't know what to say, but we haven't. I hope it's not a jinx we're putting on the Wolves, but I don't think so, because I think I think the Wolves are they. Of course, we had that poll as well, that what we were going to vote on when they were trying to choose a name, and our poll came in with Silas as the top answer. So it was nice to see that they actually picked that name that we had voted for. So maybe that might be a thing. I don't want to influence the poll or anything, but maybe that might be a thing where we might adopt the new pup, Silas. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and I'll put it up. And then Roisin's in there, she was 12, which is quite early, and that's what I was thinking as well. And I think Zephyr was 12, or maybe just slightly older at the time. But yeah, very sad. And I'd say it'll be pretty sad as well for the brother Nikai that's there now. I know he'll have the little pup to keep him company, but I'm sure it'll be an odd adjustment, like, to just being there kind of practically on your own, since the other guy's so small. And I don't know if they'll be in together, or what way it'll work. It would be interesting to see how that goes. So yeah, yeah, I know what there's sorry, Dave, I didn't see you there for a second. And thanks for the $10 there, Dave. And I just didn't see our comment up above it saying, is that your village pub, Degenerate Watch? No, no, that's Temple Bar. That's up in Dublin city centre. Probably luckily it's not my local, because it's could be quite expensive to get a pint in there. But it's only because it's in the tourist area there. And you know yourself, to kind of hike up the prices. And I don't know if they do food or anything in there, but I would like to see the prices. But I'm sure it's a nice place to go in. But I just they're in a hot spot there, so they can kind of take advantage of it. And thanks very much, Roisin, as well for the 9.99 as well. I really appreciate it, and we surely do need a new wolf. I was going to be renewing the adoption anyway, and because like it comes like I do it in June because that's kind of when I started the other one in June, so I kind of just it's a June thing, I suppose. And yeah, that's what I was going to do, and I suppose like this happened, and I was like, oh, because I was going to um re-adopt Alloway again. But then I said no, I was going to do a poll then and I kind of wasn't sure. And then this happened now. So but I am going to do the poll anyway. Um and yeah, but we definitely do need to get that sorted anyway. And then I'll also be renewing the one at Dublin Zoo as well. But as I said as well before, we don't really get a lot of feedback there, but it's kind of just nice to support the local zoo, I suppose. So probably it's the only zoo. Well, I suppose there is Photo Wildlife Park down in Cork, um, which is I haven't been to that, which I'd like to go there, but maybe someday soon. Um, but yeah, appreciate that, Dave and Roisin. Oh yeah, I'll go on and have a look there now, and I'll see for I look for a few clips there, Dave. Yeah, €10 for pints. That doesn't surprise me. And probably a fiver for a bag of crisps or something. Um, just a sec there, and I'll go over and I'll have a look there. So hopefully tomorrow night I'll kind of do the stream, maybe like obviously a bit earlier than this. As usual tonight I was all over the place, and then by the time I got everything sorted out, um, sorry guys, I was just getting I just got an email off YouTube telling me I was live. So thanks for that. It's amazing, isn't it? They can send me an email telling me that I'm live, but some people don't get the notification sometimes. So actually they have a nice clip here of Aloha and Zephyr. So these would be the two wolves that we had adopted. We had adopted Zephyr initially, and then obviously Zephyr passed away. I'll just share this up now there in a sec. We'll have a look at this there. Just hang on a sec. Don't mind me for 1 second. Right now I have it sorted, don't I? I was having a nightmare there. Now I should be able to. Yeah, Roger, just in case I forgot I was live. Yeah, so I should be able to get this up now. I don't know what's going on here for a second. And that's a bit better. Now there, it was very small there for a second. I knew I could be able to get it bigger. I seen that, Dave. Yeah, well, sometimes I probably would forget that I'm live. Yeah, but at least they're doing something anyway. I say, I wonder what it's like if you live nearby the sanctuary there and the wolves are howling. Yeah, they say that Alawa was a real lazy howler. I find I find it amazing there as well that like you know how they've kept like I thought it was nice the way they kept the two of them together and the younger brother as well, like that they weren't they weren't split up or anything, that they all got to live together. And I'm pretty sure, like, when Zephyr passed away, the other two missed him, and now the other guy that's there on his own would kind of, I it's crazy because I remember like animals do like grieve, when like they've been close to another animal, because like I seen it with my grandmother had a dog. Well, she had two dogs, and when one passed away, the other one was never the same after, because they're so used to being around each other, like. So um I can imagine it'll be tough, like, but yeah, and I'd say it's sad for the people at the center as well, because you're after been working with, like, I suppose a lot of, like, they came there when they were only pups, so I suppose some of the people there would probably like basically raise them from pups up. So I suppose it's nearly like probably like nearly like losing a kid or something like that when you think about it to them, like, because they all have their own personalities and stuff like that. I'm not trying to liken it to that, but you know what I mean. It's it can be very tough, like, on people, but I love the way he sits there. Just the paws hanging out over the the edge of the rock. But yeah, so yeah, no, it's quite sad, like, but I know that like, I suppose what could you say, that they had a they did a lot in their life that they don't know about as such, in terms of like helping conservation and educating people on wolves. So it's quite amazing to think that, that they're the ones chilling out there, but they don't realize that they're playing an important job for other of their own kind, like, you know. So it's you know, it's you know, it's pretty amazing what can be done there, like, you know, when you know, in terms of educating people about wolves. I like the whole idea of that, where it's better to see, you know, things up close, like, than, you know, just, you know, reading about it or whatever. Like, you know, there's a bedtime again that took a heap that took a heap out of him howling. But yeah, guys, it's been weird as well lately with there's a lot of stuff been going on lately, especially uh I don't know where where would you start. I suppose you have the whole Titanic submarine incident. What do you guys think of that? um it's actually since that happened, I've been kind of looking at more Titanic stuff and all, like, over the last couple of days or whatever, when I've had a bit of spare time. Like, so many of the videos I've been watching have been kind of Titanic videos or whatever, just you know, about the wreck and stuff like that. But yeah, like the whole submarine situation there, I thought that was very very I don't know, like, I seen a comment under one of the news articles about it, that somebody was saying, you know, about the, you know, the way there was guys on it that were like fairly rich, like. Well, there was people saying that, like, imagine having all that money and then ending up like kind of going out that way, like. And like when you look, like, they were even showing comparisons to the submarines that, you know, James Cameron and all would have been diving in and all. When you look at the submarines, like, and I'm not talking about just from the outside, but like on the interior, like, you know, you've got plenty of instruments and stuff in the other ones. That was just like bare inside of it. Like, I'd feel even iffy about that. Like, you know, even if they were like assuring me, oh no, like, we've done this before and all, I don't like that whole fact. Like I was saying to someone the other day, when we were on holidays in Lanzarote, we went out on so you can go on a little submarine out there, and you kind of go outside the harbour and you dive down. And you look at a couple of sunken like fishing boats and stuff like that. And like, you're not that deep like in that, but like that submarine has all, like, you know, gauges and all showing like how deep you are, and, you know, like, there's, you know, plenty of fancy controls in it compared to that. Like, I was even surprised when I seen that submarine. I was like, I couldn't believe that they were going down that deep in something like that. And like, no expert or nothing like that, but it just, to me, it looked ropey looking. Um, yeah, I've seen lots of stories there, Roisin, as well, that they were saying that he got that you know, the carbon fiber stuff that, like, that it was made out of, the carbon fiber. He got that like knockoff off Bowen. Like, I don't think it was like knockoff, like there was something wrong with it, but I think it was, he got a cheap deal on that material because, like, it was past the being able to use in an aircraft or whatever, you know. But yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, PlayStation controller. Yeah, I just, and I know they were saying like that. Yeah, the I think the Navy or the military, somebody was saying that they use some sort of similar controllers for like drones and stuff. But like, I don't know, like, when you're charging somebody $250,000 like quid to go down, you want to have something like, you know, something capable. Like, I just don't know. It just was so ropey looking. And then there was a video I seen as well there of some YouTuber was only out with him like a couple of days before in the submarine, like. And I think he like, I think he was saying, like, if he had been asked to go, he would have went, like, or something like that, he was saying. And it's just weird to think about it, that like he could have ended up there, like, you know. But yeah, very sad, like, you know what I mean. But and especially sad for that the younger guy on it. I think he was only 19, and they were saying that he didn't even want to go down. He was kind of just going because his father wanted him to go or whatever. And I think, wasn't there somebody else that they had a place on it and they didn't go, or they had turned down a place on it or something. There's always somebody, when some disaster happens, there's always somebody that has like a close shave, like they missed the flight, or you know, they don't go into work that day or something, and they always just miss it, like. Roshi said James Cameron was invited to dive at some point and he refused, and I wouldn't blame him because I've seen the submarine that he's dived in, and I think he's done that deepest dive, hasn't he, down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. But yeah, like the submarine that he was going down in was way advanced, and like there's a great video on YouTube. I only watched it the other day. It's where James Cameron brings that Tony Robbins guy, the archaeological guy. Used to do archaeology shows on the BBC. He brings him out to the wreck of the Titanic and to go down in the submarine with Cameron driving. I think it's actually Cameron said it was his last trip down to the Titanic. Now I don't know if he's went after that or whatever. He probably has, but yeah, he went down with them anyway, and it's a fascinating video. But you want to see how many different like all the different safety procedures they go through, and even if the weather's slightly this or something's not right that way, they won't go. And even if it's costing loads of money, it's not worth it for them. And just when you see the risk that the other guy was kind of taking, yeah, it's mad in comparison when you think about it. But James Cameron had a good comparison to the whole disaster with the Titanic, whereas they were saying the Titanic was warned about ice and going too fast into ice or whatever like that, and they were trying to get there. That was the objective. They were just trying to complete the objective of getting to New York, and then look what happened. And they were saying it's the same with this. There was warnings given, and it was just this need to go and do it, and then look what happened. And he was saying it's ironic that it's on the same site that it's happened. But I forgot that, Dave, that yeah, he played. Oh yeah, gee, that's just after reminding me that yeah, he played Baldric in not Monty Python, Blackadder. Monty Python. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, I actually forgot that. But yeah, Tony was good. I like some of the shows that he used to do. And then he was good. He was good on that submarine. When he went out with James Cameron, it's a good video. And there was do you know what's another good thing as well that I always see? It's kind of forgotten. The original Titanic movie, that A Night to Remember, it's called. I was watching that. There's a color. Well, it's the black and white version, but somebody's colorized it. It's actually on YouTube. I was watching bits of it the other day. Yeah, it's quite good. The James Cameron movie's good. It's more modern and stuff like that or whatever, But I like the other one for the fact that it's more focused on the disaster as such. I in the other Titanic, I think it's more kind of a love story, if you know what I mean, as opposed to yeah, it is about the disaster, but A Night to Remember is kind of more focused on the events of hitting the iceberg and everything. Then and there's just a few laughs in it as well, yeah, I seen that about the rivets as well. They were saying some of them were made out of steel, and then some of them ended up being made out of wrought iron or something like that, and they're a lot weaker when they're stressed, so the head can pop off them or something. And then there's another good documentary as well where one of the ladies actually gets some of the bolts and analyzes it under a microscope, and you can see that there's loads of imperfections. I think these were ones that were recovered from the wreckage, and you can see that there's imperfections in it, and that's what they were saying, that and then another thing I seen as well, that they had actually ordered substandard iron. It's iron 3 that ordered, which is not as good quality as iron 4 or steel 4 or whatever it was. Anyway, it's yeah, it's crazy. And I wonder, the guy that owned the Titanic as well, was on board the Titanic, and he kind of flicked off on a lifeboat, and yeah, he he got out of there, but I know at the inquiry that they did at the time, he was found not to have influenced the captain, but I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I do think that he was kind of you know, it was also his idea as well. Like there was supposed to be 48 lifeboats on that, which would have been probably, I think it would have been enough for everybody. But in the documentary, I was looking at that, like they had a dramatization of it, and they had your man saying, you know, people aren't paying to look at lifeboats, you know, and he removed a load of them until it got down to 16. You know, I just thought that was crazy. But they were saying back then, like the Board of Trade regulations said that they only needed lifeboats for, what was it, like X amount of people or whatever, but the liners had been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but the regulations hadn't been moving in pace with it, and that's why it was. But you think common sense, like if you were the inspector, even though the regulation said it, you'd have to say to yourself, like that's not right. Like a boat this size, like it was the biggest man-made moving object on the planet at the time, like full of people, and there was 16 lifeboats on it. And then I don't get the thing as well. They were saying that like maybe the captain's orders were a bit misunderstood that night when he said women and children first, or women and children, like women and children only, or whatever. But I think there was misconstrued that there was no men to get on any of the lifeboats. Whereas I don't think the captain actually meant that. I think he meant make sure all women and children are on first, and then whatever space is left, we can load up men onto it. Like because he knew there wasn't enough lifeboats, but um. Yeah, and yeah, that's right, Roisin. Actually, I seen that too, and they were saying about the, you know, the musicians that played on it as well. They were deducted money as well for their uniforms. It's crazy, like, um, yeah, it seems like that company was fairly like greedy, like you know what I mean. There's no compassion there, like you know, like I don't think companies that get away with that these days. If they tried that, they'd be absolutely shamed. You know what I mean? But back then, I suppose, like back then, them companies, I suppose, did what they like because you know because the elites running them or whatever, and then like the rich people didn't care what happened to the crew. I suppose I'm not saying that probably weren't all like that, but you know, there's some of them probably you know didn't really give a second thought to that. Even seeing kind of in the way it was separated in the boat, you know, with the people in third class were like basically caged off like animals from the rest of the people, like which is, but it's I suppose that was the time, you know, but it's crazy, like. And I suppose a lot of that obviously led to more people being drowned on the boat because you know they weren't let up quick enough into the other areas of the boat. Yeah, David, it's just it's crazy. Like, and I like it doesn't excuse anything. Like I know a lot of those companies were under pressure at the time in terms of like there was more and more competition and all, and they were trying to make you know bigger boats and get there faster and all. Like, but you know, obviously that came at the expense of you know thousands of people or whatever, and at the crew as well. Like, but then they were even saying that whole thing as well. Like, you think about that, like how luxury that boat was, right? And how big, how like how much you know opulence was in it, like with all the fittings and all in it, and like all these fancy rooms and stuff and facilities. And they had a set of binoculars in the wheelhouse, and the other guy that had the key had went, you know, he had got let go or whatever because there was other crew members joining. But he left with the key at Southampton, so they had no key. But like, do you not think they would have broke the box open or something like that? Or was there not like a maintenance dude on the boat that could have come up and like got a hammer to it or something like I just don't understand that how they were how these were unless they were locked away in a safe. Okay, I understand that, but like I just don't understand how there wasn't more binoculars on that ship and stuff like that. It's just it's crazy, isn't it? Like you know, but suppose all that sort of travel was going to be coming to an end fairly soon anyway. When you know air travel start taking off, but and Dave said there was a rumor that one of the male staff was shunned by his own mother for surviving. But you see, I like that wouldn't surprise me. Like at the time, you know what I mean? Because I think the guy that that owned the ship, him jumping onto a lifeboat as it was being lowered down and escaping was fairly cowardly. Like I'd say that, like that was being cowardly because like he, I think a lot of it was his doing. And I think at the time in the inquiry and all, I think it's because he was rich and he had influence and stuff like that. That's why they weren't gonna. It's the usual. They're not gonna find. He's too big to go put him in jail or something like that. That they have to find someone else. Blame someone that's dead, like the captain or someone else. Like that's usually the way it is. Make someone else the fall guy. Like, you know what I mean? But and then there's loads of stuff about it as well. Like, if they had have hit the thing dead on, maybe there wouldn't have been as much damage done. But I don't know. It's mad, like. But yeah. But yeah. So yeah, crazy business with that. And then obviously the other story as well was the whole madness over in Russia there the other day. I don't. I like. I'm sure you just probably heard what was going on there, but I just thought that was crazy. I just thought that was crazy there with the whole thing. I thought there was going to be madness there. I think there's bigger stuff. I think there's bigger stuff at play over there. I don't know if that guy was acting on his own. I know they like to say that, but I wonder is there other people pulling strings? You think about it, there's a lot of rich business people in Russia that are getting hammered at the moment because of the sanctions and because of the embargoes and all that. Like, and you wouldn't know if some of these are like pulling strings and offering money and stuff like that. It's crazy. Like I like when I heard they had taken over that city or whatever, I thought, oh yeah, it's just some sort of a bit of madness or whatever. But when they start moving up through Russia, like, and they were saying they were going for Moscow and all, but like I just thought it was very weird the way the whole thing went down. And I know we're still trying to find out, like, there's still information coming in, and then the whole thing. But I can see Belarus being absorbed into Russia very soon because I know they're practically another state of Russia, I suppose. You might as well say that guy is only there because he's been propped up or whatever. Like, but yeah, I can see that's not good for them. Like, I don't see how they're being used there. But yeah, protest season in France there. A friend of mine's actually over in France there at the moment, but he's out in the more rural area, so I think he'll be quite fine. He hasn't reported back any madness yet anyway, so I think if he stays out of the large cities, so he's kind of more in central France there, so he might be okay. But yeah, and then the hello to the Ukester. I think I'm pronouncing that right, the Ukester. Was saying I totally thought it was weird. Yeah, it was like I don't understand why your man would say that, oh, they're going up there on his march for justice or whatever, right? And like, you think the intention. Now, he said he wasn't going after Putin, he was going after the head of the general staff, and he was going after Shoigu, the defense minister. But like I just like, and they even shot down a couple of Russian aircraft as well. Like, so like they weren't playing around like that. And like, it was so weird the statement he came out with after, and then like Putin, like I don't understand what's actually going on there, because Putin looks weak now. Well, to me, he looks weak because this lad has basically challenged him on his own turf, like, and they've basically said, stop there. And then your man's like, all right, then, and then Putin's like, just go on your way, go over to Belarus and camp out over there. Like, I just don't get how, like I know maybe, they don't take lads out straight away. I know they can. I know there's been lads like, they've been after for years and then they eventually take them out, whatever. But, I would have expected that lad to have got blown up the other day on his way up that highway towards Moscow or whatever. Or they would have went into Rostov on Don and blew him up or something. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, and he was very close to Putin at one stage, and now it does seem like, I'm like, a lot of stuff I'm looking at on Twitter and stuff like that, it does look like he's plotting some sort of takeover. But then again, there's other commentators saying that, like, yeah, he might be plotting something, but he's not doing it on his own, on his own steam. There's others pulling strings, and maybe that's why Putin is kind of hasn't done anything about it. He's kind of just told him to feck off to Belarus, like, or whatever. So maybe that's because he knows there's something else going on. I don't know. It's very weird, like, but it's great for Ukraine, I suppose, with all that chaos going on internally. Because I'm sure, like, Putin is obviously worried about what's going on there, but with that chaos going on internally there, it's good for the Ukrainians because they, they can, well, it'll be kind of a morale boost if nothing else. Oh yeah, no, he definitely. I can see Belarus just being absorbed, like, into Russia, and there'll be no great resistance. I don't think, because to be quite honest, I know I don't speak for people in Belarus, but I think there's a lot of this taste for Lukashenko over there anyway. So maybe if the Russians came in and says, we're in charge now, they might just say, okay, because you're basically funding us anyway, kind of, so. But yeah, and then the fact that he's putting those weapons in there at the moment, there's a talk of nukes being moved over. I think they've already moved some, but I think he's talking about moving more in July or something. But yeah, I don't know. And the Ukes are saying Prigozhin did several videos of him going on rants about how Wagner was getting screwed over by Russia. He's presumably furious, but then there was something weird about those videos. Yeah, it's like, I understand, like, if that if he is frustrated over the incompetence that's been going on, like, I understand that if he's having a go, but I just don't understand how he's able to fire off it all the time, with criticisms, and he's allowed to operate. Like, it's a whole weird setup, that whole organization, and the fact that they have a headquarters in St. Petersburg. And there was some other story the other day where there was loads of money found in trucks, cash or something, and they were explaining that away, saying I was dealing cash. And it's so weird, and even they're not, like, that organization's not supposed to exist under Russian law because it's supposed to be illegal, but it's weird. It looks like it's backfiring anyway, whatever's going on. There's a lot of stuff at play underneath the surface there. And see, I wonder, is there, like, people, like, I wonder, is, like, just saying Putin's supposed to be sick and this, that, and the other and whatever, and he is getting older. Like, I wonder, is there, like, some sort of power plays going on behind the scenes, and maybe Putin's not really in control of what's going on, that to avoid a panic or some sort of breakdown in Russia, that they're just kind of continuing on with the same old until something happens or something. I don't know. It's very hard to read the situation, but yeah, it is a little kooky. But yeah, it is. It's there's something not quite right about it. But yeah, another thing. I had something there. I just wanted to. Yeah, so maybe Roisin will be familiar with this. I'm going to try and get it up on the screen there. It was on the news recently. Well, this is from the middle of June there, like, but I wanted to touch on this because I think it's quite insane. All right, so and then the Ukes are saying, and he did a video after claiming that Russia shelled Wagner's position and killed a bunch of his guys. And to my own trained eye, that didn't look right either. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, obviously, I heard the claims that he was saying that they had been attacked or whatever. But, like, I don't understand why they would shell them. Now, I know there's been a thing where the government wants to absorb them into the military, and maybe they knew that guy was going to put up resistance. Maybe they were trying to take him out. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there, that that doesn't make sense. And then you're saying there, I could totally be wrong, but it looked a little fake. But see, that's the thing as well. Someone on one of the news programs was saying the other day that the problem with this is you'll hear a claim from one side, the Russian side, you'll hear a claim from Wagner, you'll hear a claim from the Ukrainians, and it's hard with a war going on to know who to believe, because there's a lot of propaganda and playing things up and not revealing the full truth, or people don't want to reveal their hand or exactly what's going on, or maybe they want to mislead the other side. So it's hard to confirm things. But a thing that I did see was that, according to the BBC, the satellite images there, I think it's today or maybe it was yesterday, that looks like there's activity at this disused base in Belarus that Lukashenko said that they were going to be going to. So maybe they are setting up there. But I wonder, right? Here's another theory. Supposing it's a whole setup by Putin, right? To, like, this is all just a whole dramatization, like, that this is happening just to get them into Belarus, right? Without, like, raising alarm as such, just well, we're banishing them to Belarus because, they were bold or whatever, like, and then they're going to try attack Kiev or something like that again, because, they're kind of using Belarus as a springboard in. So I don't know. It's hard to know, like, but yeah, it's weird, like, but they could be up to. There's something going on there anyway. But this thing that I have here, Russia doesn't lie. No, definitely no propaganda. Yeah, but I have this story here. Yeah, I just think that the coup was just a bit like, wait, like, just hang on there and I'll see what's being said now. Is there any? I see a story there on Euronews. Latvia, there, hang on. Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland concerned about risk of Wagner serial killers in neighbouring Belarus. It says Minsk has previously been accused of weaponizing its border with the EU member states. Oh, you remember that when they were flooding the border with Poland there? It was about a year or two ago. That was nearly, I think it was around time of the pandemic and all that. European Union countries bordering Belarus on Thursday asked for more solidarity from the bloc and NATO over the presence of serial killers from the Wagner mercenary group and the risk of infiltration into their countries. The Latvian Prime Minister was saying that we keep a very wary eye on everything that occurs in Belarus, with Prigozhin there and an unknown number of very trained and skilled fighters who presumably will be joining him. It says it does potentially pose a threat. The threat would probably not be a frontal military threat, but the threat of an attempted infiltration into Europe for unknown purposes. So that means we need to heighten our border awareness and make sure that we can control that, he added. Yeah, so obviously concerns there from neighbouring countries about the move. And there's some claims coming out there in this Irish Times yesterday. I don't know if the stream will get nuked if I say this, but I won't say the full thing. But it says a Wagner group involved in widespread killing, torture, and other things across the Central African Republic. Yeah, so obviously that they're down in Africa as well, like, but they're being accused of things down there. I'm just having a quick leaf through that there. I was just wondering why George Clooney was being mentioned there. It says, I just thought that was weird. It said, according to an inquiry conducted by the Century, an investigative and policy organisation co-founded by the actor turned activist George Clooney. I was wondering why George Clooney was tagged in that. I was like, what's he got to do with them, with militants, like? But now we have a thing here. Another one there. It says, why this on RTE? Why did Belarus's Lukashenko intervene in Wagner coup? Coup, sorry. It's late. That's my excuse. It's always a coup. It's not a chicken house. Yeah, they're saying it's the biggest threat to Russian President Vladimir Putin's 23 years in power. And like for the guy to be just let walk away, it doesn't seem right, does it? And why was he? Sorry, this is another thing. I'm just going to come back so I don't miss any comments or anything. What? Why was he getting Lukashenko to negotiate for him? Like, what's that about? Like I don't understand that. Like, why would you get him to do the negotiate? Like, it just seems like it doesn't make any sense. It'd be like a major crisis somewhere, imagine that, imagine a major crisis in the United States and Biden just saying, well, I'm going to get the president of Venezuela to negotiate this deal, or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why there wasn't just direct talks between them and the people that had the grievances with. Like, why did they have to go through a mediator? Like, I just don't get that. Like, oh yeah, but anyway, I'll go back to this article here. Maybe that'll shed some light on it. It says, as units roll towards Moscow, Putin looked to his junior ally, Mr. Lukashenko, to mediate with the Wagner chief and end the impending crisis. Lukashenko spent most of Saturday on the phone, brokering a deal, according to his Telegram channel. And so, after instigating a mutiny, the caterer turned mercenary was offered a safe passage to Belarus and got off scot-free. Now, I understand maybe Lukashenko being involved because they were going to Belarus, but I don't know why he was mediating the thing in the first place. But it's not clear what concessions were made by the Kremlin. That's another thing we need to find out. But it's saying, but why did the Belarusian president get involved? It says, according to this article, it says Lukashenko wants to survive. He understands that if Putin has a problem in Moscow, it'll be a problem for him. That's from Pavel Latushka, the deputy head of the Belarusian opposition in exile. His role in this process is arbitrary because he has no possibilities to give guarantees to Prigozhin. He can only translate guarantees from Putin and the Kremlin. For his role in opposition circles in March, a court in Belarus sentenced Mr. Latushka, an absentee, to 18 years in prison for conspiracy to seize power, among other charges. Yesterday, Mr. Lukashenko said that Belarus would accommodate fighters. Hosting a private army would pose a threat to Belarusian society, said Mr. Latushka. They're just saying that Lukashenko's ruled Belarus since 1994. Just saying he's like the last dictator in Europe, or whatever. That's what they're kind of calling him. It says, unlike Lithuania and Latvia, also former Soviet republics, Lukashenko has kept his country closely tied to Russia, both economically and militarily. And increasingly since August 2020. That year, major pro-democracy protests erupted following a rigged presidential election in which Mr. Lukashenko claimed to have won 80% of the votes. Isn't that amazing? 80% of the votes. Neither the European Union or the United States recognized the result, or anybody in their right mind. Losing his grip on power, Mr. Lukashenko looked to the Kremlin to prop up his regime and used the security force to arrest thousands of protesters. And we know that they had that whole incident where he got that Ryanair flight to land, which is crazy. I'm sorry I went off reading that article there. I might have missed a few comments there. And Roshi said people who oppose Putin fall from heights, are blown up, drink poison tea. They do not go to Belarus. That's right. They either get thrown in jail or, like you're saying, they get poisoned or taken out. But remember that other crazy killing as well, that the guy was walking along the bridge near the Kremlin and he got taken out. Just like there was weird grainy CCTV of it. You just see the guy falling down or something and they reckon it was a car going by or something. I think it was a car going by or something. Yeah, but that guy, he was like a Putin critic, I think, or he was in opposition or something. Dave said, "Don't blame the time for your word salad." That's that's just my excuse, and I have to stick with it. I have to be consistent. If it's on Telegram, it must be true. Yeah, they're all on. See, they're all on Telegram over there because they don't have any. They don't have any of the other sites. They're all banned or whatever. So they're all on Telegram over there. They're all telegramming each other, you know, Putin and telegramming each other and all, and having beef on Telegram. Because most of the Wagner Group in Russia are currently ex-crims. Yeah, that's right. And they said we're getting a lot of ex-convicts to join up and all. And apparently, according to a thing I was reading there the other day, they're still recruiting people. So see, another thing there, it says since 2020, the Kremlin has looked for payback for helping Mr. Lukashenko stay in power. In November 2021, Russia and Belarus signed a new doctrine on closer military cooperation, which established joint training centers and the deployment of Russian military equipment in Belarus. Yeah, they're just, you know, they're just being used, like, you know. And then, you know, as well, like, Lukashenko needs Russia, because if a lot of stuff kicked off in the country there, like, he'd be looking for them to come in and stamp it out. Like, remember what happened in Kazakhstan a while ago? There was some sort of an uprising there, and Russians had to go in and sort it out. Yeah, that's true. They practically own it. Like, the only reason Lukashenko's still in power there is because of Russia. Like, you know, if Russia wasn't giving him money or support, like in terms of the military support or protection or whatever like that, you know, he'd be gone. Like, people would have mobbed him by now, and it'd be like the whole thing, you know, when you see these dictators like that, like what happened in Romania, you know, where with the dictator guy, he was coming out on the balcony and people just weren't having it anymore. That's what'll happen over there, like. But it's crazy, like, and it's tough as well, like, and I know there's a lot of Irish charities as well that do help out in Belarus in terms of stuff with, you know, orphanages and kind of helping disadvantaged children and all out, like, which is kind of sad as well, considering the way Lukashenko lives with his money and all, the way it's all being wasted as well. And there's a lot of poverty over there, whereas they could probably have a good country there if the money wasn't being siphoned off, you know. But yeah, just I just wanted to touch. I kind of got a bit sidetracked there. I just wanted to touch on this story that I had up here about just about this well, as criminal gangs and TikTok joyriders exploit Garda uncertainty. Now, for people not familiar, there was these three gentlemen here were prolific criminals, as it says there in the caption. It says prolific criminals Dane Maguire, Carl Freeman, and Graham Taylor were killed in a high-speed pursuit on July the 7th, 2021, when they were driving on the wrong side of the road. Now, story goes that they had been out that evening and the car had been spotted by Gardaí earlier on in the night, who tried to chase the car, and they lost the car. And then when it was spotted again, Gardaí gave chase. These guys drove onto the wrong side of the motorway and ended up hitting a lorry head on. And the reason why I find this bizarre is that the Garda that actually I'll just read the article. It says the Garda involved in the N7 crash, in which 3 members of a notorious burglary gang died, has been charged with dangerous driving and endangerment. Now, this the guard, the police officer that's been charged with dangerous driving and endangerment. The officer met with members of the Garda Síochána Ombudsman Commission yesterday, where he was served with court summons. Now, this is 16th of June, so it wasn't yesterday, but was when the article was written. He's expected to be formally charged later in the month and will appear before the district court. Now, I believe he has been charged I'm going to check that up now again, but I believe he has been charged with that. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that this is setting a bad precedent here, because if people get it into their heads, if these criminals get it into their head that the Gardaí aren't going to pursue them, like, for fear of being, held criminally responsible for something, then they're going to have a field day, and that's the fear here with this. And I think I mentioned this on a stream before about this. Like, as I say, I don't like to see people losing their lives or whatever, but I have to look at it from a realistic point of view. These people were out committing crime, right, in the middle of the night. I'm only saying I don't like. I have to be harsh here about this, because it annoys me the way this has been. That this has happened. Like, um, if they had been at home in their bed like everybody else, sleeping to get up for work the next morning, or not even get up for work, just being at home off the streets out of trouble, right? They would have been in that car to get into a chase, to drive into the lorry for any of that to happen, right? And all their partners and their girlfriends were complaining and saying that, their partner's gone and all. And I was thinking to myself, obviously they're upset, like, and I obviously, I'm not saying they shouldn't be upset, but what I was trying to say is that you knew what these people were out doing, right? There was no second thought when they were coming back with money or jewelry or whatever from these burglaries that was living this fancy lifestyle or whatever, right? The problem with that is that you can't sit there and expect sympathy of the general populace, let's say, because that has happened. Like, obviously there's sympathy because people have lost their lives, like, but what I'm saying is that you don't put yourself into the situation. It's like this Titanic thing I'm saying, is that it's a tragic situation and all, but people, if they know they're risking things, I'm not saying we obviously have sympathy. That's not the same thing as this. Those people going down to look at a shipwreck. But what the reason why I'm comparing that is, what I'm trying to say is that people just, like, in that situation, like with these guys, they were out committing crime, like, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is that it's the people on that whole Titanic thing. They're not looking for sympathy as such. Like, the partners of these people were looking for sympathy, and they were blaming the Gardaí and all of this. Like, and what I'm trying to say is that I have sympathy for the people that went down on that submarine, even though people said it was stupid, and people said, they knew they were taking risk. And yes, okay, people say, yeah, stuff happened and there was warnings, and fair enough, like, you could say that was bad form, but it's I don't agree with people saying, like, not to have any sympathy in that situation. But in this situation, I find it hard when those people are out doing that. And let's just say that the lorry that they hit, it wasn't a lorry, it was a car with a family in it, bringing a child on their way to the hospital. It was a somebody coming home from a night shift, um or heading to work early, and then their life is taken away from them because these guys are trying to get away from the guards. It was only lucky that they hit a lorry and that the lorry driver wasn't killed. You know what I mean? That they didn't hit another member of the public in a car and kill them as well. Like, and that's what annoys me, is the fact that they were looking for so much sympathy for it, and they're still kind of going on about that. And the fact that now this guard's been charged, and I don't know if this is just to appease people, these people, like, that were complaining about that. I don't see how the guard was doing. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was a male or a female guard, but I'm only assuming it was a male guard. But when I was saying that there, but I'm not sure. But I don't know if it says there. Oh yeah, it says he was served. That's, yeah. Sorry, it was a male guard, because it was just saying where he was served with a court summons. But that's what I'm trying to say, is that I just don't understand that he was doing his job. The car was seen, it was stolen, it was wanted from earlier on the night. They pursued it. Those guys chose to go onto the wrong side of the road. The driver of that car made the decision. The Gardaí did not make them drive onto the wrong side road. What they should have done was stop the car and gave up, which obviously they weren't going to do, but that would have been the way to not get killed. But like, and just think about it, if that had been in the States or something like that, they would have been getting pitted, you know what I mean, or rammed off the road, like, and yeah, it just, yeah, I just don't get that. And what I find is that this is so unfortunate now, that now you're going to have these criminals out there thinking that it's a free-for-all because the Gardaí won't be pursuing them. And now there's guards out there that are looking for more direction on this. Like, what are they supposed to do? Are they going to be held responsible? It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this case. Hopefully, when this guy goes to court, hopefully if it is some sort of an appeasement thing, he just goes to court and then it gets, thrown out or whatever, or he gets found not guilty of anything. Because I just don't understand that. He was doing his job, like. I don't know, like, he's supposed to just let those people go on and get away, but yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing, and I kind of when that story first came out, I kind of wrestled with the whole fact of, should like, I'm kind of, I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say as such, but I kind of wrestle with the fact that, yeah, those people lost their lives or whatever. And then I suppose, I know some of them probably had kids and stuff like that, which is obviously unfortunate. I feel sorry for the kids that have lost their fathers or whatever. And then obviously families that have lost their brother or their son or whatever. But, I just have that part where I just can't bring myself to sympathize when the fact that they knew what they were doing. They were out that night when that happened. I was at home in my bed. Well, I probably wasn't at home in my bed. I was probably at this computer here. What I'm saying is I wasn't out in a stolen car running away from the guards, like, and that's why I'm still alive. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be, harsh or whatever, like, but I'm just saying, I just don't, I just can't see that. And I understand the people that are coming out saying, I have sympathy, are family members or partners or whatever, and I understand, like, why they're saying that, like, but I don't know how they don't have the common sense to think, they were out doing wrong. But of course they don't see that as that, because I'm sure the attitude is, well, what else were they supposed to do to get by, as there'd be some excuse for it, like, yeah, exactly, like Dave said, there are choices and consequences of actions, and that's exactly, and this is the thing in this video that I have tomorrow with the box truck. It's like, if people just, when they're caught for something, if they could just give up, I know you're never gonna get that, like, and I know that's in a perfect world, like, but like, seriously, if people just, like, faced up to the consequences of their actions, there'd be a lot less, extra drama involved. Like, you think of the amount of guys we've watched in videos that if they had just gave up at the first instance, they would have had a lot less charges, or a lot less stuff would have happened, or they wouldn't have got injured, or they wouldn't have got killed or whatever. So, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense how you make things worse like that. Yeah, so that was that there that I wanted to bring up. I see another thing there. I had been watching a video on a guy's channel a while ago about BYD. I don't know if you see that. They're a new car company. Well, they're not a new car company. They're new to Ireland. I'll see. Can I get I have the page loaded up because I was looking at it earlier on. Apparently, they're the biggest car brand you've never heard of. But I'm concerned, and I'll tell you why. I know I know this stream's jumping around a bit. It's quite a quite a mix of topics we've been talking about. But I just seen this in the tab there, and I just wanted to bring that up. This BYD is a Chinese electric car company, and I was watching a video the other day of a guy that he does a lot of videos on China and what goes on in China and all, and he was talking about the shocking number of these cars that are actually going on fire, and it's not good, like, and I just wondering if they're going to be coming over here I can't expect the quality to be much better, if you know what I mean. I don't think they're making a different version for the European market. Now, I know there might be different standards or whatever, but I fear that we may have some of the same thing happening. But yeah, the guy whose video I was watching, it's Serpent ZA. I don't know if any of you have seen some of his videos before. We does a lot of videos on China and stuff, and he was talking about it. To be honest with you, the cars don't look bad. I don't mind the front of that. I think it looks nice. Not a bad car. I don't know what BYD stands for. I'm pretty sure someone will come up with a funny one for it, but probably because an electric car, bring your diesel. In case you have to, but I don't think they're hybrid though. Oh no, they're hybrid, dual mode hybrid power technology. But I'm not buying this, to be quite honest. I didn't like. They're on a mission to reduce the Earth's temperature by 1 degree. Well, I'm pretty sure now, if the Chinese car company, I'm pretty sure the Chinese government has some hand in it. So probably could do more for cooling the Earth by a degree than selling electric cars. But, you know, yeah, I don't I'm not really into this, to be quite honest with you, because I didn't like the talk in the videos of how many of them was actually going on fire, and they were quite extreme fires as well. Let's see, can I actually see any of them there? Just give me a second there and I'll have a look. Yeah, so I've actually done a couple of videos on these cars. It says China's flagship EVs are exploding in huge numbers. And I'll just let's see, can I get this up here? They've said Jag electric cars are running the risk of catching fire now. Why have they got some sort of a problem with their ones? See, that's the thing. I'm some of these electric cars, like when the batteries start going on fire, they could be quite dangerous. And as well, they're saying that the electric cars are weighing a lot more than a normal car in some circumstances. As there's talk in the UK of maybe bringing in some sort of a tax on. I've seen it in one of the papers there. They're calling it a pothole tax, because I think cars over there are exempt until 2025. To kind of incentivize people to get an electric car. Let's see if I can. Yeah, just 1 second there. Yeah, so I'll just pop this up there. So yeah, this guy, it's good. It's a very good video talking about these cars. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna play a little clip there so I kind of show you what I'm on about. These fires very extreme. Oh, that's not good, Dave. Something to do with charging over 75. It's like if they charge them up too much, they run the risk of like going on for probably overheating or something like that. And that's the thing with maybe a lot of companies are kind of rushing to kind of get on the ball here with this electric cars, and they're rushing stuff out before it's really ready, like, you know, or before they've really properly tested or whatever. Like, not good for Jaguar anyway, for their reputation, if you're gonna have something like that going on. 1 second. Yeah, I can make that a little bit bigger.
So China is ahead of the game when it comes to EVs in many ways. One of those ways is that China is ahead of the game when it comes to EVs catching on fire and spontaneously combusting. And there are reasons for this. Quality controls kind of lax. Shortcuts are taken. But let's talk about the good before we get into the bad, because we're going to be looking at a lot of clips here of Chinese EVs catching on fire, doing dangerous things, and, well, by the end of this, you probably realize that there's still a very long way to go before a Chinese EV can be trusted at all. Even the best and biggest brands like this BYD burning to the ground behind me here.
Yeah, and that's why I was concerned when I was kind of, after looking at this guy's video. I seen this video a couple of weeks ago, and you know, then I just seen an ad one day on YouTube for BYD, said it was coming to Ireland, and I was like, what? I was like, are they not burning the place down over in China? And I was kind of, I was a bit concerned. Then I was saying, like, hopefully that doesn't start happening here, because, you know, go park your car up somewhere next to one of these and it starts melting down or something. So yeah. So I think we're gonna. I think he's actually going to show a couple of the. I think he's going to show a couple of the clips of it. Them burning down there, and just trying to free up a bit of space on the desktop there. Now,
but before we get into all the explosive action, a word from our sponsor.
Let me skip the sponsor.
In fact, Warren Buffett himself backed this company, and everybody sees it as the flagship when it comes to Chinese autos, especially EVs. So I've put together a compilation of BYD-only clips that we're going to take a look at together over here.
Yeah, so we'll go through the couple of these clips here, and we'll just see what you guys think of these cars. Would you be happy having these cars coming to a parking lot near you?
So this was not that long ago in Shenzhen, a new BYD model burning to the ground while charging. And of course, you can see just how much effort it takes to put out an EV fire. You see, without getting too complicated, when you drive around in your internal combustion engine car, you're carrying your fuel with you, of course, the petrol.
Just let me know that you guys can actually hear the sound on that, just to make sure that I'm not playing it without sound.
But that's only half of your energy source. The other half is the air, which gets mixed with it together to create the combustion. It's all science, but basically you're only actually carrying half of the energy in your car in fuel. And it takes quite a lot to ignite that. It needs a proper spark. You actually need to go in and set fire to the fuel. When it comes to electric cars, you're carrying all of the energy in the battery pack, like everything. You're not mixing anything else from the outside into it. So you're carrying this immense amount of energy around with you. And there are various things that can cause it to erupt. Obviously, if it gets punctured, if you're in an accident, there's a serious risk of it going off, as we've seen a number of times in the past. But of course, any kind of electrical short in the system can cause this thing to go bad. And this is why electric vehicles are more prone to catching on fire than a regular internal combustion engine. But on top of that, the way that the energy gets released is really scary when you
Sorry, thanks for saying that there, Dave. I was rambling away there. Oh, I was rambling away. I had the mic muted. My bad. My bad. No, what I was saying is that it's true what that guy's saying there about like this is so dangerous, and the fact that, like, you've seen how quickly that went up there, and that's their charging, and the truck beside it could have went up. Now you have that at some sort of a petrol station, where you have these charging bays, and you have a whole row of cars starting to go on fire. Like, that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Because a lot of these, well, especially here in Ireland, are being installed at petrol stations, for people to like charge up while they're in getting a bite to eat or something like that. And some supermarkets now are even getting in on that with having these charging bays for electric cars. So, I could see that becoming a problem. Now, what I was saying as well there, while I was on mute, was, like, I'd like to think that there's more stringent regulations, that if these vehicles are coming into the EU or the United States, considering all this has been going on in China, that there would be a little bit more focus on the safety of these vehicles coming in and the build quality. But, as I'm saying, some of the things that are coming out of China, they're like, the quality isn't there. And that's what I'd be fearful of in these situations. So I'll try not to do that again, Dave. Thanks for letting me know.
Big battery packs that catch on fire, or that get punctured, etc. Anyway, let's take a look at a couple of BYD clips here.
TonyBet, your trusted licensed casino. Enjoy an impressive variety of games. Massive
I have to watch Tony. I have to watch TonyBet ad here, guys. I'm not condoning this TonyBet either. No, I think this ad's for that's an Amazon ad. Sorry, guys, there's no escape.
So she's saying, "Oh my God, 充电车, so it's like the charge energy car has caught on fire. It's so unsafe."
But just look at the flames. See how violent that is. Like, there's an awful lot of energy being released there, and like that's what's so scary about these batteries, and the fact that I've seen even some of those on those electric scooters, they have been they do a lot of popping, like, they nearly explode. So yeah, it's not good.
Anyway, that's also a BYD model down there. Anyway, she's just concerned that it's going to explode. Sorry, she's just concerned that it's going to explode there. But this is not an uncommon sight in and around China. Now, I did a lot of work when it came to electric bikes, and I used to mess around with e-bikes and scooters, and those things catch fire all the time too. And that's because it's impossible to really regulate that industry. When it comes to electric bikes, there's so many knockoffs and random brands that are made in tiny little factories.
I just want to go back to that there.
Came to electric bikes, and I used to mess around with e-bikes and industry.
Look at this. Isn't that insane? The amount of bikes there. Like, what? Like, I don't know what is going on here. I don't know if they're all scrap or what, but it looks like savage waste.
When it comes to electric bikes, there's so many.
And I actually seen another thing where they have piles and piles of cars as well, somewhere all parked up. I think they're all electric cars as well, and they're just sitting there. There's nobody buying them. Like,
knockoffs and random brands that are made in tiny little factories all over the place, that regulations just, well, they don't exist. So they can do anything they want to take short.
I'm sorry, no. Like, that's what I fear in these things. Like there's a lot of these electric scooters out there. Now, I know there's ones out there that people buy, and like there's good quality ones. There's ones from like good brands or whatever, but I know there's like a lot of cheap ones and a lot of knockoff ones going out there, and especially now soon in Ireland here, they're going to be legal to use these e-scooters. At the moment they're they're illegal to be using them on a public road. But when the legislation comes in, you're going to see an explosion in the amount of people actually out on these. Now there has been an explosion already, but there's going to be an even bigger explosion of people doing it because it'll be legal now, and there'll be more shops selling them. There'll be more of them available, and the place will be flooded with them. And what I think is going to happen is you're going to have a lot of these knockoff and cheap ones. You're probably going to have a lot more fires and stuff like that, injuries from that sort of thing. And my thing is, you have these blocks of apartments and flats and all. And I always think, you have a lot of people with those in cities, because you can't have a car because if you have nowhere to park it, like in some of these places. And an e-scooter is the ideal way. But if you're going to buy a knockoff one, like I just have a terrible feeling about that, in apartment blocks charging these things en masse, like, and something bad happening. Like here where you see these guys in this hallway or whatever there, this e-bike is starting to go on fire there. That's scary.
That's when it comes to the battery production or the circuit boards or whatever.
I definitely wouldn't be still sitting on that because it could explode.
Whatever. So you get a lot of these things catching on fire, just outright exploding, melting down, and they're a fire hazard. They really are. So much so that you're not allowed to take electric vehicles, even the small little foldable bikes, onto the public transport in China anymore.
And that really says a lot. If you can't actually bring them in onto public transport, if the government's not confident enough to have you bring them in on public transport, that doesn't really say a lot. But yeah, like, and that's just a concern that I'd have with those sort of things. I was just making sure there that I was still there, because nothing had been moving there for a second for me, but because I thought the thing had froze for a minute after I had been on mute there. I said, don't tell me I was rambling on again there to myself.
In the big cities, and it's just one of those things.
No way. Like, if I was that guy, I would be not going anywhere near that. I don't understand that. Not a hope.
But when it comes to the electric vehicles, as you can see this one burning down behind me, it's really more of the same thing. Right now, there's a rush to create EVs in China. And so you've got all these different brands coming out of the woodwork and these upstart companies that are busy getting investment from overseas and investment from just about everywhere to create the next biggest EV. And well, you can understand that a lot of shortcuts are being taken. And the result, of course, is what you see on the screen behind us. But this is BYD. This is the particular model that you just seen burned down. And here is one of their flagship SUVs that was on the back of a truck busy being taken somewhere. And, you can see it just catching on fire. If you take...
And this what I'm on about is when I seen this, I was like, BYD, where have I seen that before? And it was in this video. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'd just be concerned about that. But only time will tell, I suppose. Kind of see what happens. But yeah, I just thought it was a bit crazy, especially seeing as the safety record over there with this sort of thing isn't really good. I don't know what the setup is going to be either, whether they're actually importing all the cars from China or do they have factories in Europe or something like that. I really don't know. Yeah, and Dave, you're right. Pouring water on it won't help, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if fire services are really equipped for this on scale. If you know what I mean. I know they probably have stuff that they can deal with it, but I'm just saying, like, there is extra training and stuff, and I have seen cases where, like, sometimes it's probably best that they don't move in anywhere near it, let it burn out, as opposed to trying to go over it, because apparently it takes an awful lot of time to put out one of those battery fires as opposed to if it was a fuel fire. And that's the problem, like, you know, and especially in these urban areas as well, it can be quite a disaster. So you know, it's not looking good for this push to EVs, especially if corners are going to be cut. And I'm not just trying to single out that company, like that's just because that one's arriving here or whatever, but I'm just saying there is other companies in that video as well that they were talking about but that the reason why they're talking about BYD is because it's more like their flagship electric car brand. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be too impressed, but we'll just have to see how it goes, and see what actually happens when they start going out on the roads here, and see what the reviews are like. And I suppose that's all we can do now. So now, I would just want to play a little clip as well, while I'm here. Now, just in a minute there. I'm just going to look at a little bit more of this electric vehicles. I just reminded myself of that clip there. Sorry.
A close look, you can actually see the sparks emanating from underneath the vehicle. And this is, of course, terrifying because there's really very little you can do with these massive electric fires. Just pouring water on it doesn't do anything. And I'm sure you'll notice that whenever you see firefighters trying to put out an electric vehicle fire, it takes a huge amount of water and whatever else to actually put these things out, and manpower. So it's not a normal thing. And you'll see just how devastating this can be in some of these clips. So yes, this is a top-of-the-line flagship SUV from BYD. I'll actually put up the model on the screen so you can see which one it is. And
now this was the BYD Tang EV. What I just see is that the models they're selling here are the Atto 3, the Dolphin, and the Seal. You know, so very. So the Atto looks like they could be just under different names now. You know, they could be the same thing. I don't know if that's the same thing. It kind of looks similar to that one that's on that truck, like So the prices we're looking at here, the Atto 3 Active, which is the bottom end one, is €39,000. And then you have the Atto 3 Comfort, which is 39,500. So yeah, it's not too much for the upgrade. And then there's 40,949 for the Atto 3 Design. And you can have it in your choice of surfing blue, parkour red, climbing grey, skiing white, or exploring green. Burning ember orange. You know, but and just kind of see, I don't know if that's the same. I'm just trying to see if that's. I have to say the cars that like this, the car, like I'll put it up on the screen now in a second there. Cars don't really look that bad. The ones that are coming out here, they look fairly like nice and clean looking, you know. I just yeah, I'll just put that up on the screen there. Like, so they have this yeah, exploding green. Yeah, that's what it should be called, exploding green. wonder why they call it parkour red. Is that because you're going to be doing a lot of walking around the city after your car burns out? Like this, like the cars don't look bad. Like is what I'm saying. Like here's the BYD seal, right? That looks fairly all right. Like it looks kind of sporty looking. You know what I mean? 570-kilometer range. So this is claimed 0 to 70 kilometers in 3.8 seconds. Doesn't look too bad. Like that doesn't look like a bad car. I can see it's kind of going with Tesla vibes. Very Tesla vibe. I don't like that. I got it to create a strong sandwich structure. Sandwich the battery into the frame, so it doesn't fly out when it explodes. With the CTB technology, the blade battery is more than an energy source. It's also a structural component capable of withstanding significant force. No, I don't want the battery being a structural component. The battery shouldn't be a structural component, no matter how strong it's been built. No. What is it like? Just the bottom of the car is just a battery, like as you go over a low ramp and you puncture the battery or something. And then we have ITAC, Intelligent Torque Adaptation Control System. And this is what we have here. Look at. So you're telling me, right? I'm just looking at this visualization here, right? What is it actually telling us here? Like, so basically, like any car with no ITAC in it, right? Like you have to go slow in the ice, but like with ITAC, you can just bomb through the black ice. Look at, not barely a drift on it. Look at. The other car is about to spin out and kill everybody, and because it has no ITAC. But like, I just don't understand it. Is it that good? Like, I don't know. That's what they're claiming. The BYD Seal is equipped with the all-new BYD e-Platform 3.0, designed 3.0. Why is that? Because they've went through a couple of versions of this. Exclusively for pure electric vehicles, given all the advantages of intelligence, efficiency, safety, and aesthetics. The e-Platform aims to promote NEVs performance in safety and low temperature driving range, as well as improve intelligent driving experiences to build more efficient and safer new intelligent EVs. That's not really telling me anything. What is the platform? Yeah, Dave. Dave, did you not say that ITAC saves you from dying in a crash? Like once you have ITAC, you can just look at the ice on that road, and look at the ravine. Look at the ravine. They've deliberately made a ravine. Like, why is the road up so high off the Why is it unprotected? There's no barrier or nothing. Like, that's a death wish that road is. But if you have ITAC on it, don't worry about it. ITAC, intelligent. What are they calling it? Intelligence, torque, adaptation control. That here's they're saying this here. They said the BYD. Did I read? I read this already, didn't I? No, I didn't. It says the BYD seal goes one step further with the latest ITAC technology. With ITAC, vehicle dynamics restoration has evolved beyond traditional methods of power-off reduction. Instead, it intelligently allocates drive torque using torque shift, appropriate torque. Yes, this what it is. They're just long-windedly saying it has ABS on it, but there's nowhere it couldn't be that capable. It says the advanced system efficiently minimizes or eliminates skidding. It eliminates skidding to unlock the full potential of the vehicle's power. Not only does it enhance safety, it also elevates the overall handling, comfort, ensuring a smooth and secure driving experience. So, like, I wouldn't be driving on Irish roads like that whether I had iTech or not. You know what I mean? And this the Blade battery. It's been revolutionising safety, durability, and performance in the EV industry for more than 28 years. All this without using scarce raw materials such as nickel and cobalt. The Blade battery has passed a series of extreme tests in rigorous conditions, making it one of the world's safest batteries. I don't know, lads. I don't know. Got a question? Yeah. What are the frequently asked questions? Turnovers apparently 58 billion in 2022 and have 600,000 employees worldwide. What? Like, they're saying, like, the biggest car company you've never heard of. How haven't we heard of these people yet? Except for the bad stuff. Like, they've delivered more than 90,000 units of pure electric buses and coaches. Blown up all over the place. What is the quality range or the car range or the quality of the car range? BYD brings high-tech sustainable mobility solutions and battery technology to European customers. BYD cars are highly spec'd, have high-tech DNA, modern latest technology on board, much more than you would expect. That doesn't answer that question. Oh, sorry, I thought it was as well as the quality of the driving range on the electric vehicle, like the range, the mileage, like. But still, that doesn't answer any questions. Like, any company can say they're bringing high-tech sustainable mobility solutions. And why is battery technology in brackets? Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. Like, there's an awful lot of selling it up there, I think. I don't know. They're saying they've produced over 3.9 million BYD NEVs. Have been produced for operations in 70 countries and regions and 400 cities around the world, reducing CO2 emissions by 29 million tons. How did I know that, though? Like what about aftercare? Data privacy, I don't like that. It's probably all getting sent off to China. Stop it now. It says commercial charging 3-phase AC, 5.4 hours. DC charging 30% to 80%, 29 minutes. And it says the batteries are designed to last for the lifetime of the vehicle, similar to a combustion engine. That has to be BS anyway, because they're always saying that that the batteries will only last a few years and they'll have to be replaced. There's no way. Like, the lifetime of a vehicle, like, if you buy a new car, like, what are you going to have it, like, maybe 10 years? You'd have to have it about 10 years. You know, I know some people change their car more frequently than that, but, like, you know, if you're buying a new car and you're going to spend 40 grand, you might want to keep it 10 years. There's no way. I don't know. The lifetime of the vehicle, similar to a combustion engine. Sure, my car is a 2004. So you're telling me if I had a, you know, we'll just say if I had a 2004 BYD, the battery would be still good now. I don't know, like, is there's any other companies making those claims? And the battery type is a Blade lithium iron phosphate HV battery. Don't really know much about these battery tech, so I can't really say much about that, but But yeah, I think that's just the FAQs are a lot of FAQ. That's what they're because okay. Saying a battery can be charged from 30% to 80% in 29 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. No wonder they're blowing up chargers, overheating probably. But now they probably argue that it's not the same models being sold here. So that's the sale, as I said. And we've seen this is the Addo. I'm going to show you the Dolphin. The Dolphin is the worst one. I don't like the look of the Dolphin myself now. I like this. This doesn't look too bad. It's a nice looking vehicle. I like the red there. How many term? 37 months, right? 37. Sure, the battery will be still good by the time we finish paying it off. Here's the Dolphin. That's probably their lower end one, I think. Have a look at this here. Oh, actually, like it just looks worse in that color. It doesn't. It looks better in the other colors. I just don't like it in that color there. It's kind of an off-white or something. It looks better in this picture. Or is that this? It is the same fucking car, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't look as bad there for some reason. I don't know why it looks so bad in that picture. I just don't like it in that picture, but it looks better in the blue. Build your dreams. Says on the back of it there. That's the interior. Yeah, like of their 3 point something million that they've built. Yeah, how many of them have actually caught fire, or how many of them? Like, is their oldest vehicle that they've produced? Like, they're saying it's good for the lifetime of the vehicle. So the oldest vehicle that they've produced is still on the road. Is the battery still good in it? Like, or was that the old tech, and now like this new Blade battery is the game changer? Like it looks nice inside. Like it does. Nice seats and all that, and you have to see platform things. Don't be filling me up with this. What's this now? High efficiency heat pump system as standard. Energy saving standard. Oh yeah, like that just after popping into my mind there. Yeah, about when you have an internal combustion engine, when you have the heaters on, like the heat is coming off the engine. Yeah, I was just thinking that with the electric cars, you're getting the heat from your heaters, like. But it's saying there that they uses residual heat from the powertrain, passenger compartment, and even the batteries. We plenty, judging by what was going on in those other clips, there'll be plenty of residual heat coming off the battery anyway. They're saying there the great thing about combustion engines. There's a yoke in the way there because I'm reading it on the phone here. The great thing about combustion engines is if it stops going, it's easy to replace the engine and the body is still going strong. Yeah, see, that's the thing. And with the engine, like you can service the engine, right, to keep it like running. Like as long as you keep servicing the engine, you can buy parts for it, filters, you can buy your you can just buy all the different parts for it, like your starter motor, if it goes, you can buy that. You can buy you could just go to the scrapyard and try to list. Mine's gone blank now for engine parts, but you know what I mean. You could go buy parts for the car when they break down and replace it. But with these electric cars, especially if you go to get the battery replaced. But according to these, the battery's good for the lifetime of the car. Like, you know. So like I'm not buying that, to be quite honest. But I was trying to think different about this. But yeah, the other one does look like something your granny would drive. I'll try to say down here that does this have any? What are they selling with this? Like, look at that. Looks like something. Like, looks like a cockpit of an airplane. The thing up the top, up there. I don't know if you could see the mouse moving around there. That thing there looks like those. You know where the throttles of the plane would be. It's weird. It does look very plane-esque. If that's even a word. Like it does. That looks cool. Like, but I mean. And this is another thing as well that I've been thinking of starting to yawn now. I hope I don't set anyone else off. Starting to yawn there because I know it could be a sickness. This is another thing I'm saying. All the vehicles now, most modern vehicles that are coming out with these screens. You know, it's like basically like a tablet in the middle of the dash. And like to do anything on the car, you have to interact with this. You know, by pressing the buttons on it or whatever. I said, is that not a distraction? Like you're not allowed. Like here, you're not supposed to have a mobile phone in your hand when you're driving, or you're not supposed to be like even if the phone's in a cradle, you're not supposed to be texting on it or messing with it. Like you're not supposed to be using it. I suppose. Like yeah, if it's in a cradle or hands free, like yeah, you can be talking on it on speaker, but you can't have it on a stat and then be tapping a text message in on it. So like I just don't understand with all these things coming out because like in a lot of cars now you actually have to even turn on the heaters or anything. You have to go into this and go into a lot of menus and all. It's not just a simple switch or something, Well, like some of them are set up differently, but like I've seen somewhere some features you actually have to, click into something and then click into something else. So you're taking your eyes off the road to actually look at the thing. Like, before, like, if you had your CD player, if you put down your hands, you know where the button is and like, that button's changed to track that, or however, I know you get used to that, but I'm just saying, like, I have think like there might be a bit of a distraction. Haven't driven a car now that has that something similar to that. I haven't driven something that's something similar to that, like, but I just think it'd be a bit of a distraction. What's this? Panic camera mode. The ambient lighting syncs to your music and changes color to match it. Gimmick. Gimmick. Panoramic sunroof spans the whole cabin. That's all right, don't mind that. But the lighting thing is like I don't mind that, like, but don't be giving that to me as if I need it. Like I don't actually need it. I need the car not to explode. What's going on with your man here? So he has some display here over here. Opening the roof there to vent the hot fumes from the battery. Yeah, we can buy one and we can watch it burn. A bright road ahead, it sure is. Broad headlights continuous taillights shine a reassuringly wide beam of light, greatly improving night driving. This combined with the unique dynamic steering light means you'll feel safer and more comfortable. I think I feel more comfortable out of the vehicle. Maybe you should go on a test drive in one of these, like, and they probably wouldn't let me live stream it. Like, imagine that, live streaming the test drive and then battery blows up or something. And you have to connect my BYD, the cloud connected app, the direct link between your car and the outside world. I thought that was the tires. So they were the direct link to the outside world, to the road. I don't know. The car looks nice, like that's what I've said. Yeah, of course. It says actual electrical range and power consumption may depend on the individual user, driving style, vehicle speed, environmental conditions, outside temperature. Basically, anything there is not gospel, like, do you know what I mean? That's a nice way of saying anything can happen, isn't it? Says this means the actual figures may differ slightly from the test figures. In addition, the use of auxiliary systems such as air conditioning or heated seats can affect the figures, because I suppose they're all done on a perfectly flat thing, you know what I mean, with nothing turned on, no CDs, or not CDs. What am I? I mean, no audio, no MP3s playing. Yeah, but Dave, the mood lighting, that's exactly what we need. It's to calm us, right? So when we're driving along, right, and we're thinking about all these bad things that we've been reading about the BYD, but we've went ahead and bought it. We've pulled the trigger, we've bought it, and now we're driving down the road, and we're starting to feel anxious. And the mood lighting can sense it. The car can sense your anxiety, and it'll put on a calming blue, and then you'll forget about it, like, and you'll be thinking, "No, I made the right decision." Isn't that right? I think that's the angle they're going for there. And yeah, starting from 39,000. God, that was a big yawn there. Yeah, so BYD. Let's just let's go back over here for a second. Sorry. Yeah, so that was quite a change of pace there. I hadn't actually intended to go into that much about the electric cars, but I kind of just went that way. But just because I had seen that the other day, I'm hoping that I'm trying to maneuver here to get myself some refreshments without knocking something over and making a racket. And yeah, but yeah, it remains to be seen now when they start coming out over here to see will there be any trouble with them. But by the looks of that guy's video that he was doing, that Serpent ZA. So if anybody that's watching is interested in going over and looking at the rest of it, he also has another video about that. Actually, has a lot of videos about China, but then he just go into a few about the cars and stuff over there. So that is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, if there were like the VW test figures. But you know what I mean? They're probably not, it's all done in a how would you say, in a controlled environment or whatever. It's not like out on the main road driving around with the heating on and whatever, wipers going and this, that, and the other. Like, it's it's done the best way that they can. I suppose it's probably the same with all car companies, to do it in a certain way that they can get away with it, but the figures look good to someone that they're trying to sell it to. You know what I mean? Hopefully you don't think about that, and you just think the figures are impressive, like. But oh yeah. Sorry. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that out there for a second. And then I'm going to get this back up there. Yeah, so no, it's definitely not easy when you get old, Dave. It most certainly is not. I'm really feeling it now. But yeah, that's just thing, like it's weird, like, because I hadn't really, when I was doing this stream this evening, like, it was supposed to be like I have stuff, lined up or something for the clips to watch and stuff like that for the birthday stream, and that's what I was intending to do this evening. But as you know yourself, when I kind of got that news earlier on, I kind of said, "Oh, well, I can't do that tonight." Like, it wouldn't be good to do that at the start of the stream and then have it that way. So I said, I come on and I do this after that premiere, and then I have another video ready to go for tomorrow. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, it's the video is uploaded. It just has to be set live as such. I'm just watching this guy there on the screen there. I wonder what he's at. Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow, and then I'll be streaming live afterwards. And then at this end, hope your refreshments don't contain diet soda. Definitely, no, definitely not. I've be quite honest with you, something I used to drink a lot of was just normal Coca-Cola or whatever. But I've really, like, I haven't drank. I drank some yesterday. I think I drank like a glass of it yesterday, but like I was drinking an awful lot of it. But I've cut down on that. Don't really go in for the diet drinks and all, because I don't like all those artificial sweeteners or whatever that are in them. I know sugar is bad, but I think some of the artificial ones are probably twice as bad for you. With some of the stuff I've been reading about them, as you were like aspartame and sucralose and stuff like that. Yeah, I try to steer away from that. Even stuff with that flavored water and all, like, it's that can be full of it as well. Like, but no, what I'm drinking at the moment here is just I have water here, and then I have Fanta. Now, obviously, Fanta, of course, like, has a bit of Fanta has that aspartame in it as well. All the drinks here, you see, what's happened here is government put a tax on soft drinks, and anything with like a lot of certain amount of sugar in it has to be there's an extra like 10, 15, 20 cents or something on a bottle or a can or whatever. And what a lot of companies did in order to beat that tax, so their drinks wouldn't have to increase in price, to start adding some of these artificial sweeteners. So put a bit less sugar, put some artificial sweetener in, and then they're kind of skirting around that. But this was all pushed, you see, from a health point of view. And I know it was well intentioned. Let's just say, less sugar, obviously healthier or whatever. But the unintended consequences is the drinks companies now making up for that by putting artificial sweeteners, which there's a lot of bad stuff about those going around as well. So it's kind of, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot there, because like you might have people, let's say, not being obese or whatever, because they're saying, all the sugar and all is leading to obesity and diabetes and all of this. But the people mightn't have diabetes or be obese, but like some of these artificial sweeteners, like being linked to, damaging DNA or causing cancers and stuff like that. So like, I don't like the sound of that, like, you know what I mean? So I prefer, the way I see it is like, and I know this, I'm not trying to have a flippant attitude about it or nothing, but the way I see it is that if you put on some weight, you can get help to try lose it and stuff like that or whatever, or there's ways of doing something about it, And if you have diabetes, there's people live with diabetes out there, and they manage it and everything. But when it comes to like, damaging your DNA or getting cancers and stuff, well, that's a lot more harder to manage, and it's a lot more dangerous. So like, I think we were better with the sugar, just cut down on the sugar, but yeah, and see that's the thing. No, these things, like, no one wants to say, they never say that they actually cause it or whatever. They say it can lead to causing this and causing that and whatever and all, but you know, I seen a yoke recently. It was about sucralose, and it was saying that they reckon that it damages DNA, and obviously in like in your cells or whatever, like and like when I heard that, I was like, what? I was like, that you know, and this was from somewhere reputable, like, you know, and it wasn't just like, you know, some Facebook post or something. It was like it was in a decent newspaper, like, or something. They were commenting on a study that was done about it. But yeah, it does make you think, like. And then sometimes as well, I say, like, now it's okay if people are vegetarian or vegan or whatever. That's fair enough. Like, because you know, you haven't, you know, you can't make the choice to eat meat if you've chosen not to eat it, obviously. But what I'm saying is that with a lot of these meat-free products, obviously, like, if people are vegans and vegetarians, obviously they're going to buy those products or whatever. But I see some people that are buying them also because they're saying, well, you know, let's not eat the meat because, you know, meat could be unhealthy for you because of X, Y, and Z reason or whatever, you know, too much red meat or too much of this, whatever. And then they're going off and buying all these, you know, these meat-free things. But surely there's a lot of extra stuff added into those. Like, there's a big list of ingredients that goes into them, like, you know, to make it, you know, palatable, to make it, you know, stay together and whatever. And what I'm saying is that, you know, and I'm not talking about vegans or vegetarians. I'm just saying, like, if you were deciding, oh, like, I'm not going to eat beef anymore, because, you know, people are giving out saying too much red meat, this, that, and the other. I'm going to go eat the, you know, plant-based beef or whatever, you know, the fake beef or whatever you want to call it, right? If you're going to go eat that, like you probably think, oh, well, I'm doing myself a favor here. But like, if that has a lot of like additives or any preservatives and stuff like that, the steak didn't have that in it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm just saying you have to kind of weigh it up. Like, unless you're doing it for like the reasons, as I was saying, like that you're a vegan or a vegetarian. But like that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the push for a lot of this stuff, you know, as healthier, maybe we don't know. It's the same with the vaping. Like, I just seen a thing. There was a lady saying in the paper the other day that the vaping industry is saying the same things that the tobacco industry was saying 50 years ago about, oh, it's not this and it's not that, and you know what else, and all that. And look what's happening as well. Back 50 years ago or whatever, when cigarettes was all the rage or whatever, you know, kids were being given them. There was kids back in the 50s now. Like, my father was telling me like that when like these cigarette companies used to come to town, like they used to have they used to play movies on projectors on the side of a van, and they used to hand out cigarettes. Like, what's going on here on our webcam? We have two guys there that look like they're straggling home from the pub, giving the council lads there a bit of grief. I don't know, I think that's the council there driving by. We're not giving them grief, like they were saying something. So people still straggling home at 4:20 in the morning, like. There's the bin lorry there. Yeah, but that's what I was saying. Like, he was saying that they used to come in and, like, you know, they were basically marketing the cigarettes to kids, and that's what the girl was saying in the paper the other day, that that's what's going on now. Sure, it's all teenagers and people that are buying these vapes. Now, I'm not saying they're not all, but you know, these disposable vapes, all these flavored ones. I think they're trying to crack down on it over here, because there's even people over here on the vapes. As I think I've said this before, never smoked in their life, just took up the vape because everyone was doing it or whatever. Like, I actually seen something was on the TV the other day about a girl over in the UK. She had started heavily vaping around 6 months ago, and she had started heavily vaping around 6 months ago, and her lungs collapsed as she was rushed into hospital. And that's why I'm saying to you, like, we don't really know the effects of well, obviously, like, maybe it's good for people who are trying to give up the cigarettes, go onto the vape for a little bit and then get off the vape, but don't stay on the vape. if you can avoid it, try get off it, like, or especially if you've never smoked or vaped, don't start vaping. I just don't see why you put that on yourself, we don't know what way it's going to go. But the Euxter was saying there, my best friend is a doctor. He thinks that the high fructose corn syrup is worse than the artificial sweeteners, and I think that is true as well. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about the high fructose corn syrup. I don't think it's in a lot of drinks here locally. I'm not sure if it could be the EU could have banned something like that. I know they're very strict on regulations and stuff like that with stuff. I'm not sure if it's banned here, but yeah, no, but I'd well trust your friend anyway that because I have heard a lot of stuff about that, and I don't know, it's hard, like, and that's why, like, lately I've only been kind of thinking about, the sort of, I would class myself as someone that would drink a lot of soft drinks, like, but it's too much though. Like, when I do look at what I was drinking, but I have cut down an awful lot, because it's yeah, no, it's just not good, like, and then obviously as well, like, I think as well, I'm kind of only realizing that, but I think a lot of time in the summer, like when I was drinking a lot of that and I wasn't drinking that much water and all, and I was feeling bad and all, I said a lot of it was dehydration, like, you know what I mean? I just wasn't thinking of it at the time. But yeah, the popcorn lung is, yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's not good. And that what made me give up the vape was I had been just 1 second there, I get a drink. I've been smoking for years, and I went onto the vape to try give up the cigarettes, and I was still vaping for ages, like. And then I came across a story one night about a girl I think she lived in New York. Basically what happened to her is she had been vaping for around, like, I think she was saying near enough, she was vaping a little bit longer than I had been vaping, but near enough the same, you could say. And she had been vaping and she started getting terrible, feeling a bit, but she was kind of passing it off as nothing, like. And then all of a sudden she got really bad breathing problems. They brought her into the hospital, and turned out her lung had collapsed. And when they did some like x-rays or whatever sort of scans they did on her lungs, you could see all in between these like crystal like substance or whatever, and it was from the vaping, like, and it was forming these crystals in between her lungs, and it was making her lungs like weak, if you know what I mean. And anyway, her lung collapsed anyway, but she survived. And like, I'm not joking you. When I read that story, no, I think it was actually a video. I think it was on one of the, it was like, could have been on NBC or CBS. So it was on one of the websites anyway. And I was reading, I was looking at the video of it, and after I just thought to myself, you know what? It's not worth it, like, you know what I mean? Like, because I had been on the vape for an awful long time, and I was saying to myself, like, you're gonna have to give it up, like, eventually anyway. And when I seen stuff like that and all, and as well, and a good thing that kind of helped the push as well on top of that was I had already been kind of contemplating that, because the company that I was buying my vapes off of, they had a particular flavor that I liked or whatever, and they actually stopped being sold in Ireland because the company that was distributing them stopped whatever deal they had or whatever. So they actually stopped selling those altogether. So I couldn't actually get that. And I was trying to find something to replace it, and I couldn't actually get one that was anyways similar. And I just ended up kind of on these kind of fruity ones and all. And that kind of helped me. Then when I seen that, I just gave it up altogether. So, but, I'm delighted that I did anyway. But and then I just threw out the two. Like I had two vapes, I had one, and of course I had a spare, you know, just in case, like I'd be without my vape, like. But at the time, like I wouldn't have been able to go without it, like. But you know, it's just now that I'm able to. It's been, I don't know how long it's been. It's definitely been way over a year anyway. But yeah, it's not good, you know. But like the advice here is like what I've heard them say here is like if you are smoking, like try to give up with like, you know, nicotine replacement, like therapy, like as in patches or gum or spray mist or an inhaler or something, as opposed to going on the vapes, if you can, you know. So, you know, I know the vapes are I suppose they are a way off for some people, but you know, definitely don't go onto the vapes and then stay on the vapes. Because I think there was a myth among people for a while that, you know, sure, I can stay on the vape, sure, it's not smoking, like it's not going to do me any harm, but we don't know, like, because it's still very early days. So, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder, are all these people coming from sessions? Like, you know, they have to be. Sorry, I just got to change subject randomly. Are these people are walking around on the webcam there? Now this gentleman doesn't look like there was a guy there earlier. He looked like he was half cut, but this guy looks like he has his wits about him. I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, if the cigarette companies have shares in the vape companies, because they're definitely saying that. What's this guy doing? Is he gonna nick that bicycle? He looks shifty there. There's no one around, man. Don't know. He's sussing it out, isn't he? I don't think he's sussing the bike out. I'm saying he's guilty before he's done anything. But what is he doing? Can we zoom in? We can zoom in. We can zoom in on this gentleman. Should have zoomed in a minute ago if I'd have been thinking, guys. He's gone off. There he is. Oh, he was doing. He came out of a building down there and he walked up here and he was just kind of. You fall there, did he? Well, he didn't fall, like, but I think he staggered a bit. He should tune in live there and he could see himself. Yeah, that's what I've often wondered at, Dave, as well. Like, I don't know. I probably has. There's probably stuff like, you know, I'm pretty sure it's probably saying fights and stuff like that on it, but that's why I kind of put it on. Not saying that we're bulling to see drama, like, but just in case, you know, you never know what you'd see. You know, that's why I take it, have it on the background there and see if anything happens. But yeah, I'm pretty sure like that there's stuff being caught on it, all right. Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing. I wonder how many like these sort of live webcams around the world have actually caught like crazy events happening, like, you know, or have people actually been watching something when it's happened, you know. Be good, I suppose, like if there was an event on in Dublin, like St. Patrick's Day. Like I think I did show this area on St. Patrick's Day, but I don't think we looked at it for like really long or anything like that. Some ads to want us to go. Where's this? This for Madeira, is it? Or I didn't know what was going on a minute ago because like I came back, I glanced over at this when it was going off, and your one was in a bikini, like, and I said, "What the hell is playing over there?" And then I just realized it was just an ad. I was like, "Thank God!" I said, "I didn't know what was going on." I said, "We were talking about the Russians. I thought we were trying to hack us there, get us taken down." I was going to say, was that the same lad coming back? No. I suppose going into Friday morning, I suppose if it had been, probably be even more people around if it was the weekend. You know? Don't know if there should be actually, hang on there. Get rid of some of these. I have a lot of tabs of Wagner open there from earlier on. Get rid of some of these. Yeah, it could have been having his morning exercise there. Where is this now? It could be in this one there. I think I have. Yeah, we'll have a look and see can anything come up on this here. So I can show this one. So this is so this will just flick around to the different cameras. This is a camera that's up on top of Liberty Hall, which is the SIP2 Union building, which is a trade union building. And this would be a view. It obviously says there on the different cameras where they're looking from. So that's the Sean O'Casey Bridge. That's looking up the River Liffey. I thought we'd slip. Yeah, I thought that the stash of that. No, that was the Russians, Dave. I swear. They're trying to. There's some sort of a collaboration with Madeira going on there to try shut us down. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I see some of the cameras when they flick to, it's better suited obviously to daytime. That's the bus station. Don't know why it's so zoomed in. Don't know if I can go to the camera and zoom it back out. Zoom it back out. So that's the railway tracks that lead into Connolly Station. It's a good webcam, good in daytime. It'd be better if it was more fluid. It's that cam's been up there for a good while. I don't know if they've ever updated it. But definitely one to have a look. There's a better view of that one there. It's actually after zooming out for us there, and that goes off up to Connolly Station, in central Dublin. It's looking out at Holt there. And Dublin Port just kind of in the middle ground there. That's looking actually down Dublin Port there now. A bit of movement there. And it's a shame with this camera here that it's kind of it takes an image every second or whatever it is. It's not fluid like as such. And that's the roof of the GPO. But Liberty Hall, yeah, great views all over the city. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Liberty Hall is the tallest building in Dublin. I think. I'll check now. Oh no, Capitol Dock is actually the highest building in Dublin. It's a 22-story mixed-use development at the junction of Sir John Rogerson's Quay and Britain Quay in the Dublin Docklands. It was finished in 2018. It's 23 floors with a height of 79 meters. With Liberty Hall, the one that we're looking at that camera out of it, that's actually 59 meters tall. And St. Patrick's Cathedral and 69 meters tall. It says as of April 2023, there are 6 structures over 80 meters, which is 260 feet tall, and 9 buildings over 50 meters, which is 160 feet tall. Dublin's tallest structure is Poolbeg Power Station Chimney Number 2, which is 207.8 meters or 682 feet tall, while Dublin's tallest building is Capitol Dock, which is 79 meters or 259 feet tall. So that's mad. I for some reason I know Liberty Hall was the tallest building for a while. Back in the day probably. Yeah, the city's starting to come alive there this morning. Friday, a lot of people finishing their last day at work, the last day of the month as well. July. And actually July, oh yeah, let's take the main bus station in Dublin there. That's where like I would get the bus up from Dublin back home. They don't drop you off there. You get dropped off at Custom House Quay, which is just like around the corner from there. And then the bus goes on out to the airport. Yeah, they've said there I'd hate to live in that hostel, that Isaac's hostel there or whatever. It's like right beside the train tracks. So you'd have the trains going in. Now at night time it'd be grand because the trains don't run after a certain time. But yeah, during the daytime you'd have a dart going by there. Probably every 10-15 minutes, and then whatever other trains would be passing by as well. But yeah, I think that camera's actually froze there now. That happens sometimes. That happens. Let's see. Oh yeah, zooming all over the place there. Yeah, so you see there, when I scroll down to it there, the map of Dublin, where the balloon is, there is where that where Liberty Hall is. So it's right in a good central location. So that's why it's such good views. And plus, there's nothing really around it to be kind of blocking its view either. That's as tall as it. So, yeah, that's where that is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if there's a I'm going to have a look at this. Have a look at this cam there while we're outside. That's the GPO there. Actually, the camera from the gift shop's actually better. Actually, there now. Hang on. There's a few people. This is like webcam watch or something. Just seeing some people walking down the street here, so like, oh, you're on Degenerate watch. Those folks don't actually look like they were out drinking or anything. They look like they're just heading out. Like this morning, like, I think she had a kind of coke in her hand. Yeah, I think it would be a bit noisy there. What is with this Madeira ad? This is the one where she's in the bikini, so we have to get out of here. No, it's not. I was wrong. I need to find. I was trying to find that the gift shop one. Yeah, this is better. Because it's just this one's fluid, like, if you know what I mean. The other O'Connell Street cam there a second ago wasn't. It's just a slightly different angle there, and it's more jittery. Yeah, amazing though. It must have been raining again. Because I have obviously the blinds pulled here. I was just looking there. It's been raining again. Shock. I think the summer's over here. We've had a few good weeks of it there. Maybe 2-3 weeks of good weather, and it's been kind of poor the last couple of days. But hopefully it'll improve a bit. Oh, that's what I was going to say a few minutes ago before I distracted myself again. July, I'm hoping to get a few bits done. In terms of, I'm hoping to go on a trip with a friend of mine. Going to go out on a boat up around, hopefully around Dublin Bay. And I'm hoping to, like, maybe, like, take a few videos and stuff when I'm out on the boat and all, like, so I might be able to muster up something to maybe add in on a live stream or something like that sometime. So that's something I was looking forward to, because I was looking to do that for a while. So we had decided to go in July. So hopefully all going well, we get a bit of good weather for that. And I see the Ukester is saying I have to go to bed while it's still night. Take care. And that's something I'll have to do pretty shortly as well. It's kind of dawn is kind of breaking here. Although it looks brighter outside here where I am than it does there outside the GPO, which is strange. It could be just a bit more overcast up there. But it was nice to see you, Ukester, and thanks for joining us. And I hope to see you again on the next live stream. And I'm hoping it'll be tomorrow night. I have that other video ready to go for tomorrow night, and I was hoping to live stream after it. And that's the one about the box truck. So Yeah, and I'll be kind of looking forward to that live stream as well, doing it because it'll kind of be the one for the channel's 3rd birthday. Gonna look at a few clips and all, and maybe kind of discuss a few other bits and pieces, because you never know where we'll end up. Because I wasn't really intending on streaming for as long, and I didn't know what we were actually going to end up talking about. I knew we were going to talk about the news I had at the start, and then like just talk a bit about the video and stuff like that. But I kind of, as with most of the live streams, you never know where we might end up. Oh, that's good, Duke. Sir, I'll see you there. Well, obviously, because I'll be there. I know. See, that's the tiredness kicking in here now. You never know what I'd come out with next. I probably could have done with that. Email off YouTube now. Let me know that I'm live streaming, just to kind of keep me in the game. You know what I mean? But yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier on. Do back up there when you told me, Dave, that time when the mic wasn't working that time. After I like came back and I put the mic back on, nobody commented for ages, and I was like, "Is anybody there?" And then the yoke looked like it was froze on me, like how many people were viewing, and I was like, "Is there still 7 people watching, or is that just saying that, like, and it's froze, like, and no, because nobody's saying anything?" And I was like, "Is there anyone still there?" I was gonna actually say that. Is anybody out there? But then it was grand, like, but then I knew it was coming back again or whatever, like, but yeah, so yeah, I think I'll head off to bed, like, well, is there a point now? I know, but I know I don't mind, kind of, because I haven't really a lot planned for tomorrow anyway. Just kind of doing a bit of shopping, grocery shopping, nothing fancy or anything, but yeah, go get a couple hours sleep, get up, do that, and then we'll have our thing, have our live stream tomorrow evening, and of course the video. Oh God, it's we're fading here, I think, but yeah, I know, but it's been too long, Dave. It has been too long, because I only realized that there when I was working on that other video, and then I was trying to get the box truck one finished. I was trying to get the I was trying to get the box truck one finished before I premiered the other one. Even though I had started the box truck one before the other, but anyway, it's just the way it ended up working out for me, and yeah, but it's been too long since I had an actual video up. There's been a bit of a gap again from earlier on this month, like, so I'll try to pick that back up, and yeah, I'll have to do the birthday live stream, but I actually have another oh, I can't open that there when I'm streaming. No, I thought I could get back to the main page. No, I do have another stream planned as well. So yeah, so it could even end up being 3 times in 1 week, Dave, depending on how it goes. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do that tomorrow night anyway, and so I'll have the video first, and then I'll come on live after it. Yeah, so thanks to everyone that's watching. I don't know who else is there. I know the Ukester has headed off. I know Dave's there. But I don't know who else is there that was originally watching from earlier on, or if the other people are there just after joining us recently. But I want to thank everyone for coming along to the stream and watching with us. And for anyone that joined late, I just want to say that or if you go back to the start of the stream, you will I had a bit of sad news at the start about our adopted wolf Aloha sadly passed away yesterday, and I just wanted to announce that at the start of the stream, because I didn't want to leave it kind of in the middle of the stream and then just drop that then. So just for anyone that joined us late that knows about our wolf adoptions. So obviously that's pretty sad, and what we're going to do is we are going to still obviously adopt another wolf at the centre because it was coming up for renewal anyway. But as I said earlier on at the start, I am going to do a poll and let everybody vote, and we'll see what wolf we're going to sponsor. So I'll do that in the next couple of days, and then when we I'll leave it up for a few days, and then when we get a result on it, and just go with that, and then we'll have a wolf update video as well coming soon. But they said to be getting extra. No, it was nearly a face reveal, right? Because I don't know what is going on with the phone. Because sometimes when I turn it around, when I had the camera the other way, when I actually went live, for some reason I just decided, no, we're gonna flip the camera back around. I was trying to do me dirty, it was. And it was nearly a face reveal. And if you go back and you're wondering why the start of that is chopped off now, it's not chopped off because it was nearly the face reveal. In case that's why you're saying that, in case you'd noticed it, if you went back and seen it, you'd notice that it was chopped off. No, the reason why I had to chop it off is for some reason it picked up some of the music that was playing in the background. But what was bizarre about it is it picked it up as a cover track, and it was telling me some stuff about it's all good to leave in the video, but we're going to take some of the ad revenue or whatever. And I was thinking, but it's not even that song that they're talking about, and it's the actual song. It's a different song, but whatever. So I just chopped it out because the start of it didn't really matter anyway, because I didn't say nothing. I think it starts right as I'm starting to say something, so it wasn't too bad. I was lucky enough that way, but there was other parts in it where the music was blaring. I was right up at the speakers. I didn't pick up at any of that. It was odd, But yeah, you see, you never know. I'll just say this, right? The channel may not always be faceless. I've seen plenty of faceless channels become faced, if you know what I mean. It might end up going that way. Especially there's a few things I had thought of, things I want to do and all that, and it might be better to do that, to not be a faceless channel as such or whatever. We can I was hoping to kind of get in here sorted out a bit more, but so further down the road we may have some sort of revealing, but sorry. And thanks very much for joining as a member, Eugster. Welcome aboard to the Wolfpack. It's nice to have you on board. I just didn't see that for a second. I was like, what's there? And then the oak popped up. I was like, I don't know what was going on there for a second. Just excuse me, because the time isn't treating me well here. It's it has me rambling like a madman, which is nothing new. But yeah, thanks very much for joining. I really appreciate it. And do check out some of the members' videos there in the I was going to say in the tabs, in the members zone, in the members tab on the channel page. I think I got that out right. But yeah, and I need to get some more new members videos up soon as well. But yeah, no, I appreciate that, the Eugster. And as I said, I appreciate everybody for joining us for the stream. And I hope you do join us tomorrow for tomorrow's stream. And yeah, we look at some clips and all that as well, and see how we get on. So I'm going to head on now anyway, and I hope you all have a good day or night or whatever it is where you are. And I shall see you tomorrow. and I'm hoping that this one, because I'm just looking. I just want to have a check out there. Yeah, it has been raining. Hopefully it doesn't keep raining now, and we can get this shopping and all done tomorrow, and with ease. I don't know what was going on there. About 20 minutes ago, I was starting to fall asleep. I was yawning like I don't know what. You get this second wind there again. It's probably the push. It's probably the push I need to get into to get into the bed. But yeah, sorry, I'm starting to ramble again. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone coming along, guys. And I think Dave's actually gone off there. Well, I was just about to say goodbye there. But yeah, guys. So yeah, thanks very much for joining me, and thanks to everybody that is watching this back on the replay as well. If you've got this far, or if you've been kind of just skipping around or whatever, thanks very much for joining us. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And what I will do is I'll post something as well, kind of give a bit of a warning that I'm going to be going live as opposed to just kind of doing it. But it will be after the premiere. So if you don't get any other notification, you don't see it, but you get one for the premiere, it will be happening after that then. So yeah. So with that being said, I wish you all a good night or good morning wherever you are, and everybody take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. So until then, stay safe, take care, peace.